So we go. Dear friends, we have come to the conclusion of 2 days of hopefully exciting and inspiring work together with each other in different fora. Some of them in this room as plenary sessions, and some like the things we're going to hear about now, working groups you could call them, or thematic parallel meetings. We have just, as you could see, been discussing how to deal with this, because some of the participants of some of the thematic groups have had to leave. And therefore, I shall try to call up the groups where I can see that we have representatives from the work. And I think it's quite normal that during a 2-day conference and busy people that we cannot have reports from everybody. But I should very much like to call to the stand, it's just like a judge in an American movie. Irene, would you please come here and tell something about the group talking about city branding and the Baltic Sea region, the communications network, please.
Thank you, Per. Yes, so it was the first day of the UBC conference, and we had our city branding seminar, and we had Peter Pere, who is the CEO and co-founder of Future Place Leadership, talking to us, giving us a seminar about city branding. And then after that, we had a workshop about city branding, and then yet another workshop, so we had really like an interactive meeting, another workshop about how to develop the UBC communications network more. So basically with Bartal, we went through different examples of good city branding across the region. So from all the Nordic countries, it was based on examples from many UBC cities as well, and we talked about different aspects of place branding and what it could mean in the context of the UBC. In the seminar part, there were a couple of questions, so we thought about the leadership for the future in the sense of place branding. So who needs to act in leadership for the future, how to do that sustainably, and how can each of the persons who were in the seminar play an active part in city branding. That was one aspect of it, and the other one was how can each and everybody who was in the seminar be an active player, play an active part in UBC's communication and building the image and being a real brand ambassador for the UBC. Of course, that also means for the UBC cities, because UBC is its member cities and commissions. So what basic question is, what can we do as individuals, students, politicians, leaders, experts, youth, NGOs, and so on, for the benefit of our cities in city branding, and also at the same time for the benefit of the UBC. After that seminar part, we started so it acted as a good sort of an intro, this whole beginning to the developing of UBC communications network. So then we started this brainstorming session, and I asked one question, and that question was, what should communications network, UBC communications network, do in the next 1 or 2 years so that it would benefit the work of those who were present in that seminar, those people? Everybody got to brainstorm first, a couple of minutes individually. Then they had a talk with partners around them, other people, and making up some themes, 5 themes for each group at least, about what would be the ideas, the topics that the UBC Communications Network would do in the next couple of 1 or 2 years. And then there was a summing up. So all the groups wrote their ideas on post-it pieces of paper and we placed them on walls in different groups, and we created themes for what should be the themes to develop our work in the next couple of years. And as we were running out of time at that stage, so I promised to send everybody a conclusive report afterwards about their ideas, and everybody got to also vote for their 3 favorite ideas. So it was sort of a wishing well. So we tried to collect as many ideas and themes as possible. Of course, not all can be executed, but we can see what were the most popular ones, and then also see that what can we do to advance them in the next 1 or 2 years. So basically what the UBC Communications Network has done so far has been that they were an amazing help in, for example, creating the whole UBC website, the new website. We did it together. It was not made by myself or others at the Secretariat, but it was made together with the UBC cities and commissions, and now we are in the process where we are doing a lot of more social media things. We want to do that together as well with our cities and commissions and the young people, and we also want to hear like what we could do better in communications network, what could help out our cities and commissions in that. So basically that was a short summary of our group, and I was very happy to see that we had so many participants. Everybody was active, almost nobody left in the middle of the break, so that was a thumbs up. So, thank you.
And now I have an apology to make, and that is to you, because I was so eager to hear the reports that I forgot that in my wishing well, there is also a wish about more music from the talented young people we have heard already somewhere. On some occasions, we're going to hear them again. Sorry, friends, but enter the stage and just, it was singing Swedish songs without translation. Good, fine, please.
Thank you very much. Elias, something crazy has happened. I really don't even understand it myself, and I don't know, I just think I need someone to talk to, you know. Would you like to listen? Thank you. Our fight, it lasted for weeks, and we screamed and we cried. But all he did was to compare me with his so-called friend. But when he admitted that she had made a complete fool out of him, after that, our house got silent again. And from that moment, this friend, she was hated by us both. She had played with his feelings, and she had played with my feelings. Actually, it felt like I had been rejected, me too. So that was when I decided to go for the biggest defeat of my life. Nu lyser ängarna av sommarens alla blommor, och nu surrar bin och fåglar sjunger överallt. Nu stryker vinden genom trädens höga kronor, men i min trädgård är det visset, mörkt och kallt. Här är det risigt och förvuxet, sommarens alla dofter. Där är det sommar, men här inne är det höst. Jag levde lycklig här med dig och mina katter. Ett liv i synd, helt utan omsorg att bli frälst. Försonad med min karaktär, för jag har aldrig förmått att säga nej till någonting som helst. Och aldrig nekat mig det ena eller andra. Och levat livet, har tills jag krossades en dag. Det började med att du bedrog mig med en annan. En som du sa var mycket finare än jag. Vårt gräl tog veckor, ropen blandades med gråten. Och jag blev grundligt jämförd med din fina vän. Tills du bekände att hon givit dig på båten. Ja, då blev det dödstyst här i trädgården igen. Och från den stunden var den kvinnan dubbelt hatad. För hon hade lekt med dig, med oss ett litet slag. Och jag kände det som även jag var ratad. Jag ville slåss och gick mot mitt livs nederlag. Jag gick med hammaren beredd under min kappa. Och då kom hon ut i sidenscarf och hon sa god dag. Ja, hon sa god dag. Kom in och slå dig ner en stund så får vi prata. Jag bara stammade. Nu minns jag inte vad. Och sen blev jag bjuden på likör och cigariller. Och jag kunde inte få mig till att säga nej. Och när vi skildes var vi bästisar och bundis. Och jag tog saker som du glömt med hem till dig. Jag går omkring i mitt Pompeji bland ruiner. Jag traskar runt i resterna utav vårt liv. Men du ska aldrig ge mig pikar om sekiner. Och aldrig ska du bli en annans tidsfördriv. Nej, åt det gamla ska vi binda vackra kransar. Och ta mitt liv och mina katter som de är. Och trots all kärleksbrist och trasighet och fransar, dig ska jag älska livet ut. Till dig har jag kär. Kär, 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 kär.
They're good. They're really good. Thanks a lot. Yeah. Thanks a lot. Okay, we have now other reports to listen to. We have the Baltic Sea organizations working together on youth issues. And I think that is you, Carsten. Please.
Thank you. We just had a small discussion group in this seminar on Baltic Sea region cooperation between organizations, where we were having 4 different organizations presented there: the Euro-Region Baltic, CBSS, Council of the Baltic Sea States, yeah, there it was, yeah, and the BCCC, the Baltic Sea States Sub-Regional Cooperation, as well as the UBC. And 3 of those 4 organizations have been working together towards the EUS BSR forums in Stockholm and in Berlin this June, and working on youth issues in that way. And we talked, had a dialogue with the audience about how to improve our cooperation for the youth issues, because as you see youth issues in the European strategy for the Baltic region, it's quite hard to find where is the youth in that. So we will intensify our cooperation to maybe try to put it into the horizontal action capacity. And we are starting right now. In the middle of November, we have our first meeting, all of the 4 organizations, and we are looking very much forward to what's going to happen there. And we have already also started preparing for the next forum in Tallinn in 2018 as well. So all in all, we had a great discussion with the audience about how to improve the cooperation, especially if we want to have a more strategic approach to youth involvement and youth participation in our organizations and local municipalities as well. So that's a short brief of what we did there.
And thank you for your report and the group for their work. And it's good that we have some youth amongst us, because one of the elderly guys, I should say, has left. But sustainable development goals in local and regional setting will be reported by Toivo. The floor is yours.
Hello everyone. Yes, so my name is Toivo Hursti and I come from the city of Espoo in Finland. And I was asked to summarize and report about a workshop on sustainable development goals and regional and local settings. And thank you for Carsten to pulling me here about 5 minutes ago, but let's see. So when I was listening to the workshop, and I heard so many good ideas, so many beautiful thoughts, and now I have summarized a few of them and also sprinkled a few of my own. So the key word in this was collaboration. We can't reach the goals by the United Nations, the 17 main principles, if we don't work together. The United Nations and the EU, countries and the cities, politicians and scientists, businesses and public sector, and of course, the elderly, the workforce, and we, the youth. And one thing is that we have to be wise about this. There are few phenomena that we can just stop. Urbanization is something that is happening. We probably can't stop it, and we maybe shouldn't. And global warming, we can't stop it. I wish we could, but I don't think so. So we shouldn't fight them. We should enhance them. Especially with the urbanization. We should use urbanization to make our cities more sustainable. New ways of transport, new means of living, all of this is possible when there's the need, so then we can supply. And when we are talking about the Sustainable Development Goals, some people are saying that they aren't actually really good because they are really a weight on our economy if we have to invest in many of these things. And that's just wrong. Because if we follow these goals, we are creating new industries every day. Green tech, clean tech, everything is prospering. So the SDGs are helping the GDP. And cities are one of the most important players in this game. The local politicians have to work, and people have to work, citizens have to work. And I can proudly say that I come from Espoo, which has been awarded the most sustainable city in the whole Europe award, but that wasn't an accident. It's a result of teamwork of schools, politicians, citizens, everyone. And I hope that we can't give this prize anymore, because every city will be as sustainable as can be, so it will be a tie of all cities. Of course, the cities aren't the only parties we need everyone. The international unions like the UBC and the EU, but also every single person by themselves and their own actions. But of course, actions need to be actions. Of course, we can always speak to great concert halls and nod our heads a little bit, but that doesn't help too much. We all need concrete actions in our cities, in our personal lives, to make this happen. Mia Marlund from Sweden told us the Swedes use the hashtag #firstgeneration to engage youth in this whole debacle. It's really important that youth are brought with us to this fight against unsustainable lifestyle, because we will be here a long time after the year 2030, and I hope we can be that really sustainable life after that. But to make that goal happen, we need the concrete actions. I hope that every one of you and everyone who's not here will, in their own lives, start making decisions, keeping the goals in mind. How can I help these 17 goals? Not just what my city can do, what can the UBC do, but what can I do as an individual and a consumer, and maybe a politician, a leader, maybe a future leader, I don't know. But yeah, so in the northern countries, it's really important that we search for new technologies, because when we are talking about the global warming, we are talking about the Nordic freezing. If the sea current of Gulf stops, it will be really cold, and then we need more heating, new ideas for our housing, everything. So that's something we should develop and sustainably, because many cities have already pledged that they will be carbon neutral in a few years. If I remember correctly, my own hometown will do it till the year 2025. That's a really ambitious goal, but without ambition, we can't do anything. So I hope that every one of you has the ambition and is ready to act, so we can make these 17 goals happen. Thank you.
Listening to the enthusiasm, it must have been a very interesting group to work in. Thank you for your report, and thank you also for the work of the group. We have something called culture, and We had a presentation yesterday also at the plenary by you, Jana, and your enthusiasm in connection with culture we all know. Please give a report from that group.
Okay, actually our workshop is still going on in a mini group there, and wow, it is, the Swedish song was already one of my favorites, and then one of my favorites was talking here, and you know, his name is Toivo, which is interprets to English in hope, so it is very hard to continue from here. But anyways, I will shortly tell what we did in our work group. We were discussing how culture is the key to sustainable leadership, and talking about the digitalization. So the moment I left the room, my computer with my notes collapsed, and if I open it, it has a picture and it says, "Do you like this picture? Click here." And if I click it, nothing happens. So this is my moment then. Okay, we were discussing cultural planning and how we are going to implement cultural planning in UBC cities or Baltic Sea region. And then we also touched the 17 goals and discussed whether culture has anything to bring to the 17 goals. And we did find that we make a difference in these goals. And then we had the final question from our group, and somebody, actually a lady from Jurmala, asked, how do you measure your culture? And this is always a very kind of touchy question, but we came up that actually, European Commission is going to help us with this. They have just in July brought up a culture and creative cities monitor. So it's a platform, internet platform, where you can put all your own data, and then you can kind of compare yourself with yourself and compare yourself with others. And luckily enough, one of our member cities, Gdansk, has already done it. So I urge you to follow their example, because then because of course everybody of you cities, you will do the mayor's sustainable goals platform thing, and please do also the culture. Then you have a lot of information about how we can sustain ourselves, because culture is one of the keys to sustainability. This is what we talked for 2 hours, and we also talk about Minecraft and other tools block by block, and we had a great time. And I just run here, and here I am. And thank you for listening, and if you have any questions, so please, I will be here until tomorrow, so I would be very happy to talk with you all. But now I go back to my hope. Thank you.
Well, another information about this tool, and therefore I should say, also underline that, of course, these reports will be in written form also on the website later on, and then we can refer to the relevant websites where we can find the tools, I'm sure. Thank you very much, Jana. And now we have, as I see it, we're going on a bicycle. And I have a special guest here, namely Nico. Prego. I know 5 words in Italian, that was one of them. The floor is yours.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. He called me special guest because I don't work in any of the cities from the UBC. I work at the European Cyclist Federation, and we had a very nice session on cycle tourism and how can we brand the Baltic Sea as a perfect destination for cycling tourists. So I started with a presentation on our own network of long-distance routes throughout whole Europe. It's called Eurovelo. And if you don't know, just go on the website and start dreaming for your next holiday this summer. So I presented it. I presented the great potential benefits that it can have on the whole Baltic Sea region in terms of economic growth, local economic growth, employment, the development of sustainable and active tourism, and so also the discovery at the international level and international visibility of the environment, the culture, the heritage of these countries. Gladly, Marta from the well, you know Marta? Pomerania, yeah. Also gave a presentation on cycling tourism and what they are doing along the coast already of the Baltic Sea in the north of Poland. And it's working very well. They are building 450 kilometers of cycle route along the coast, which is absolutely magnificent. And they are investing money, but they are already also seeing the benefits of these investments. Then we switched to a more urban environment part with the gentleman from Vexio, who explained as they are trying to double their modal share for cycling in here. And so they are implementing a lot of measures, looking at infrastructure, how to improve the conditions for cycling and how to incentivize cycling more than cars. And then, of course, the vice mayor of Gdansk also brought his experience from their city, which is a very much growing cycling city, one of the best cities now in Europe to cycle. They have a lot of initiatives, a lot of campaigns to promote sustainable mobility, sustainable urban mobility, and bicycles as a daily mean of transport. I forgot to mention during the session that Gdansk also recently joined our own network of cities that are working together and that would like to contribute to better infrastructure, better, more political attention at the European level and more investments from the European institutions being put into cycling. So if this is something that interests you as well, just let me know, please. We left it there. We think, I mean, I guess everyone in the audience, in the public, and from the panel agreed that the Baltic Sea cycle route is a very good opportunity for branding and uniting the countries, the Baltic countries. So we are of course already working on it, and we are still looking for new participants in this project. And one last thing I wanted to say, thank you for these quite unique artistic performances that we have been seeing in the past few days. It's something quite unusual to see in a conference, but it brings the whole conversation to another level, and it gives a very nice touch of artistic content, and as well, yeah, it brings some more a different kind of beauty to the conference. So thank you.
Well, I hope that we have covered the groups have been working, and I should just like to ask if, not questions, because this is a report from the groups, but we have tried to find out who is here and who is not here, because some have left, as I said. Do we have anyone wanting to report from one of the groups not being mentioned? Then we can do that. If not so, I have some yes, please. What would that be? Gender equality, yes, of course.
we had a meeting, and the main result is that topic had been how to encourage more cities to sign the European Charter, which CMR, Council of Municipalities and Regions, launched 11 years ago, and amazingly few cities in the UBC have even signed the Charter. And we have found out that it's also lack of proper communication. It's not quite clear what it means when you sign the Charter. The signing is not a big thing. The thing is that you have to draw an action plan, and that's also not difficult because the Charter gives you plenty of ideas how to do that. So the next step is that, I hope it's the city of Kalmar now, instead of city of Helsinki or Gdansk, that will propose the UBC Executive Board that UBC signs the Charter as well. It's not only the municipalities, cities that can sign, also organizations can sign. And then we even thought that we could apply some project money from EU of this Baltic Sea region foundation of money, because it's also that we want to maybe have other leaflets, handbooks delivered, encourage cities to sign the Charter, and also that we try to include, with the help of the articles in the Charter, to include a gender equality perspective in other commissions' work a little bit more simple or effective way. Thanks.
Thank you very much. And I guess that we have, of course, made a note on your wish to sign the charter, and this shall be brought up in the board. And this morning we had another session which we should hear something about. Carsten will talk about the listening of the voices of tomorrow. Please.
Thank you. This morning we had the session or the workshop of listening for the voices, or listening from the voices of tomorrow, where it started out with, we have two introductory speeches. The first from Ms. Lena Ek, former Ministry of Environment in Sweden, and a presentation from an organization in Germany called Capofactor, who was also trying to empower youth and entrepreneurship and that. And after that was actually the great moment for the youth conference, because yesterday morning they were presented with 7 tasks from the commissions and had to work on them for 24 hours, and they got the chance to report on their issues and their possible solutions to the task that the commissions have given them. And just very shortly, the tasks were about, one of them was about digitalization, how to improve youth participation by including more digitalization. Another one was about how to create more intergenerational cities, where you can have young people, mid-aged people, or middle-aged people, depending on how you would like to see them, and elderly people all living together or doing the same things or in the same area. We had a task of how to develop attractive cities to grow up in for youth. There was a task of identifying and coming up with possible solutions to safety and security issues as the youth sees them of today in each country, which were the most demanding issues to face at the moment. was a task about how to increase the cultural possibilities about, or especially for the youth or with the youth. There was a task about gender equality issues, challenges, and lastly there was a task about, well, if we want to have leaders for tomorrow, what can the educational system as it is do at the moment, or what must be changed in the educational system. So those were the tasks that the youth have been working on for 24 hours, and they presented their findings and results or solutions or ideas this morning. And in my opinion, they were great possibilities in the solutions they proposed, and we are at the moment writing them up so they are in more readable form, and it will then be sent to the Secretariat, which can then distribute them. So basically, the youth did great work on those 24 hours, and as a side comment, I would also like that the results from the parallel sessions that we had on participation and migration will also be included in the documents that we will send to the Secretariat to distribute. So that's it. Thank you.
And I started my work at the beginning of the conference here by opening the Youth Guarantee Conference. And maybe we should finish the report by hearing about what happened then after I left.
Yes, indeed, we are pleased to have you there and say some encouraging words, since in our workshop we had the pleasure to have youngsters. That made us to breathe deeply and think how can we serve the youngsters as well to make this more interactive. But a short recap, we had an overlook what has happened in the Baltic Sea region in general when we think of integration of young people who are in risk of becoming an early school leaver, or who are in a situation when they are neither at work, school, training, or any kinds of traineeship or apprenticeship, basically called Youth Guarantee. So then we had examples from Finland, region of Turku, and also a general overview how you should work with youngsters by knowing their profile, their background, of the situations that impact their life. Why is it so hard for them to find work, and why is it so easy for them to not to go to school as well? And we proceeded with having a speed dating. We had 2 rounds of 4 cases. We had a case from Estonia, Finland, Germany, and Sweden. So specialists presented their methods, how they work with youngsters, how they track those people who are outside of the system, outside of public employment service system, outside of school, outside of municipalities' reach. And it seemed that that session was very well perceived by participants. And they were very engaged, and as you might have heard, speed dating gives you a good opportunity to learn more in a very short period of time, so you focus a lot. Then we also looked into causes and consequences. We checked the method that we think to apply when we work with both at the municipal level with specialists and strategists. So we looked how you can follow the chain of causes until consequences, and that was the interactive session for youngsters that made them be there as well, and all of a sudden think very hard on together with the other ones, think very hard of consequences of a situation that is called youth unemployment. And to summarize, we actually focused on the main question, which is how can we cooperate more effectively in the future? And then I'd like to draw 5 conclusions of the whole session. The first one is, first, talk to your clients or people you work for. Learn what they need and what do they think is the best solution. Define your client's needs. Thirdly, within the institution, define who serves whom. It happens now and then that the institution works from another paradigm, so you should always be on strong foot and knowing that you are serving young people. Or to quote my colleague Matti Mäkelä from City of Turku, he has said like this: if you think of the slogan that is for the New York Police Department, they say to serve and to protect. And Matti says we have instead to support and develop. And fourth, we should also define specific, very specific areas of interaction or cooperation. And lastly, exchange of information among actors involved in transnational cooperation and looking for best forms to do that. So I strongly hope that the session we had already on Monday afternoon will have some impact on your discussions within commissions, because I've definitely heard of the result of the discussion on cities and labeling. I've heard that that has helped a lot to City of Lahti, since they have labeled themselves after your session that they are the best city in the universe. Thank you.
Well, I think this concludes then the reporting. And now listening to all these reports, it just struck me how broad a field we are covering. It's fantastic. In this conference, but also in the daily work back home in cities and local authorities. And even more there, because we've not covered it all. But give it a thought, quite a lot to be done, and we have to be dedicated, because a lot of challenges are in front of us. Thank you very much for the work being done, and thank you for the reports. And once again, I should like to point out that the written reports, of course, will be part of the material on our website. Now I have a couple of practical questions. You know that tonight, of course, we are having the dinner party, and you saw when you came. This is downstairs in the Concerthus i Lobbyen, and they have already been preparing that. It's at 1900 hours at 7 o'clock. And then I should like to say that if you're staying for the guided tour tomorrow, there will be no guarded wardrobe in this part of the building. But the reception in the hotel has promised that they will try to find a solution to guard your luggage while the tour is on, and it should be ended at about 12 o'clock. But the bus will leave at 9 o'clock, so you have to be here at 10 to 9. And it would, I guess, be a good idea to check out of all the rooms we have hired up till now, to check out before leaving, because there might be a delay. So that was it. And then we're going to finish this session and the whole conference with 2 presentations, namely the presentation from Rostock, because they, as I said earlier, they are inviting once again to a conference, and Karin will tell us about it. That will be next year in March. Karin, please, the floor is yours.
Okay. From faraway shores across the sea and under the open sky, many persons reached us from 2015, 2016, fleeing from danger, fleeing from starvation, fleeing for hunger and longing for safety, longing for chances, longing for normal life just for themselves and for their children. Okay, they arrived in UBC cities and it were more than 1 million people, and they came around, they located themselves or were located around the Baltic Sea in many of our cities. UBC took the issue in 1916, and we talked about how to cope with this massive influx of refugees, what we did. We shared experiences, how could we cope with this challenge. Now the time has passed by, and we see that these people, these persons are still here, and they have to be integrated, they have to get the chance to get into normal life and to be a part of our society. What to do? We want to talk about how to integrate these persons, because we can be sure that many of them will stay here for a very long time, or maybe they will stay forever. One never knows, because the condition to return back to their homelands are not expected to be better at the moment. So we are inviting you to join the conference, Baltic Sea Cities Sharing the European Dream. That is a title that we took because this is really a European dream that drove the people to come here, because they expect that this is a territory of peace and prosperity. We invite you to be with us in Germany, in Rostock, from 12th to 14th of March 2018, so it is soon. So we want to discuss. I would like to give a bit what was our starting point. How did we plan this event? The fact is, migration is one of the driving forces of the development of our urban society. That is true. That has been like this in all times, that migration, influx of persons made cities grow. It is not the only factor, but this is one of them. We will try to ask the participants, hopefully you, to search in your mind, in the mind of your families, in your mind of your countries, the cities, for own experiences of migration, displacement, and integration. Remember, in the last century, we had 2 big, bad wars, and we had we had movement of borders, we had war, we had devastation, we had starvation. Lots of people were displaced in their own countries, so there must be something. We know that the older people don't like to talk about it, but there must be something we could remember in our collective memory. So we would like to ask you to search in your collective or family memory for that. And equipped with this experience, we want to see what's about the experience of the newcomers, how they experience the integration. We want to ask newcomers how they did, what were the obstacles, the difficulties, and we want to talk about that. And the important thing of the conference is not talking about the immigrants, but talking all together. We want to have a certain balance of kind of old residents and newcomers. We want to talk together. Why? We want to build a society together. We have to. We are obliged to. We have to. We have no other chance. So How do we do that? Okay, I told you we will look back to the 20th century and we will analyze what did our society do in order to achieve what we are, who we are, where we are today. But now we want to make an experiment, a mental experiment. We want to imagine that we are now 20 years forward, looking back to the days of today and giving ourselves the advice how to achieve to the society we expect to have once. So we will answer the question, how should our cities look like in 20 years and how can we achieve it together? Okay, we have of course planned workshops, and when you see the workshop themes, maybe you find a little familiarity to our commissions. Can be, must not be, but I will just name it. Sharing online and offline communication, a multicultural package. That is necessary, you know that. Equal access to education, of course. Creating a stronger and more inclusive economy and job market, yes. And gender and minority equality and linking cultures, yes. How to do, we will talk about it. Using, developing, creating, and designing the cities together. That has to be like this. Safe and healthy life for all, that is normal, has to be normal. Sharing culture, we have to learn a lot. A cohabitation of religions and traditions in our cities. Oh, that is heavy, that is not easy, but we want to put it on the table. This is important to manage, to master. Cohabitation of religions and traditions. Okay, I would like to show you, in short, that is our task force. Maybe you find a well-known name among the persons you can read. And yes, they came from faraway shores and across the sea and under the open sky, following the vision of the European dream. Let us discuss that. Let us discuss and reach the objective of integration. Let us talk how to do it. Be welcome in Rostock in March 2018. Thank you. A short hint, this is a kind of maybe a bit flyer, but heavy in content. If you haven't seen it, now you know what it is. Please take one or more. Thank you.
Okay, Karin. It happens that Rostock will be celebrating its 800th years anniversary as well during 2018. So there might be other reasons, of course, to go there, but this is a very important reason to all of us. But thank you for the invitation. And now we're just at the end, just near the end. Because when I say a specific word, it's like magic. Because some of you did not experience the film that you're going to see now. But I shall say thank you for a beautiful conference. And see you in 2 years' time in Kaunas.
It's gonna work it anyway, and we will just wake up in a bed of sunrise, and we will talking about explains, and we will just forget a world of sadness. I wanna feeling like this, I wanna feeling like that, I wanna feel it.